going? It's me, Be Inspired, here in the flesh. For those of you who don't know my real name is Bakhtawa Parvez, and I am a self-published author. And the whole purpose of behind this channel is to kind of like endorse and make myself more public knowledge and to endorse my merchandise as becoming an author. So in my last video, I talked about going and creating Gacha Life mini movies, and I'm kind of pretty excited about that. And I'm actually pretty excited taking a different step towards my channel and getting recognized. And also in my last video, I mentioned that Giblets to Gerbil, here it is right here, um, released. And I just think that's super amazing. And I can't believe how much I came a long way since I made my debut about 5 years ago. And so about that debut, I'm making this video as like an important recognition for some things, like as an author, and what I needed to focus on with my journey. So when I first came out as an author, like become getting on the news actually wasn't like my or my parents doing. It was actually my school district, Amarillo ISD, my particular elementary school, Sleepy Hollow, did for me. I was completely surprised. It was after like 5 months since I published it. My school principal came in and said, "Hey, we're gonna have an interview," and I was like, "What? Wow, so cool!" My parents were ecstatic. I actually became recognized for something that I did, and that's when it really took off. But what also took off was the set pressure of expectations that I had to meet. Now that I was an author, I set a high expectation set for not only myself, but also my family, my siblings. My little sister Manize, she goes to school at Bonham, and the principal has really high expectations from her because of what I set as a legacy for me. But I realized that I also had to carry on that legacy for myself. Like I was the huge representation of my family, and I was also setting a huge representation for my career as an author. And so when I started writing my books, I was thinking, whoa, hey, I'm recognized. People think I'm a big shot now. I got attention for it. And it was actually kind of nice just to not be that classic loner that people just hit or miss or ignore. I started getting recognized in middle school when people found out that I wrote books. They told their friends about it, and their friends knew all about me. And so as I created more and more books, people were like, "Wow, you have X number of books." And I felt really proud of that fact. But did my writing fit that? I want to say kind of and a little bit of a no. It wasn't until around O's publication, and that happened like mid sixth grade, I think, mid sixth or seventh grade, that I realized that I actually had to start changing how I was going to face my writing career. So when I created it was really based on a lot of personal experiences. It became of something that I wanted to show with the world. And also, I ran out of writing ideas. I was so busy with school that I wasn't able to actually consider and sit down to really think about something. And that's also another reason why I actually quit my first YouTube channel. I wasn't able to stay motivated and stay fixated on it. I felt like I was being forced to make a YouTube channel. That was recommended by my parents, and I stood by it. But then I realized that I wasn't able to make the commitment. Also, I was really young, so I wasn't thinking super smart and super well at all. And that was like way before puberty. And that's when you have a huge, like, open your eyes moment kind of deal. When I wrote Fire Spirits and My Torment, the original plots of the stories were significantly altered. Like for Fire Spirits, I wrote about these two girls who find out the secret between their grandmother's hair color. What is that? What is that? When I first came up with the idea for Fire Spirits, it was about a beginning where this girl takes revenge on her own family, and her own little sisters eventually turn against her and actually murder her because of something that she did. And it was supposed to be like a full-on blown fantasy novel. But what ended up happening was when I actually finished the book, it was actually like 8 pages long. 8 pages! what was I thinking? And my mom when and dad, when I told them, they were like, no, you're not publishing this. I mean, after all, if I did publish the book would have been like this thin, 9 pages, 8 or 9 pages. Well, why would you buy a book for like $5 and it's just 8 pages when you could read like an article that's super long, but yet it still is free and you can access it from the internet at your own comfort of your own house and you don't even have to pull out your credit card or something. No, not again. And unfortunately, that same experience happened again last year with um with the creation of my tournament. I think I no, not last year, 2 years ago. 2 years ago with my tournament. I realized that my quality of writing and my commitment was going down. I was not being happy about it. I felt pressured and I felt forced. I wasn't being forced to come up with an author. I actually liked the idea because I love writing. I love reading. It's so much fun. And making my own stories makes me actually feel good about myself and it makes me feel confident in being more as a writer. And so eventually, um, with Giblets the Gerbil, it was actually towards my 8th grade language arts class that I came up with the idea. We had to do this advanced thinking lesson where we were supposed to write poetry over a certain over a certain topic, and so I chose about this imaginary gerbil named Giblets. Yeah, Giblets. I wasn't thinking about the name. It's kind of dark, so we're not gonna talk about the name and origins. We'll probably talk about that in a different video about the background behind Giblets. Um, but basically, I realized that Giblets the Gerbil could radically change my writing. I realized that I was not going to have another Fire Spirits or My Torment situation. We're not having that today, people. We're not having that today. And so when I came up with Giblets and I wrote the manuscript for it, it was 6 pages long. But that was because it was in that regular size fonts, Arial 11. And then I started thinking about what I should do to change my target audience. I needed to consider the language that I was writing about, and so I chose my target audience to be like early elementary school to late middle school. Before I was aiming higher, but I realized that in order to make that commitment, I would need to have like the right time and place to do this. And right now, I'm in high school, so my I'm in my sophomore year at high school right now. So with the sophomore year at high school, it's super important for my education. That is when colleges are going to look at most. They're going to look at my sophomore, junior, and really senior year of school. So, and I realized I had to pour all my heart out into my studies. But I also needed to pour my heart and soul into my writing. After all, there's a saying called quality over quantity. And when Giblets the Gerbil eventually came into light, I was thinking, wow, this is a huge game changer. The whole manuscript itself was written within an hour. And that's when, within that hour, that special hour, I was thinking, it's not about the length, it's about the quality of writing. And that's how you get recognized. It's not about those people who have the most books, it's about having the most influential book that really speaks to heart and really gets people moving. And that's what Giblets the Gerbil eventually came to be. So I actually fell in love with this book because not only did I try something new with it, I actually started illustrating it for the first time. I started writing a shorter book in manuscript, but I also came up with the idea of creating my own pictures. I mean, I was around this time in art class, so we were starting learning about these all new drawing techniques. And although I wasn't a big avid drawer, I was like, let's try and give this drawing a big go. So I put it in and I give it a go and I fell in love with it. It was great that I was able to put how I pictured the characters, like making my own animation and into creating my own character for my own book. Though I really ranted and talked about going into like different ideas, I realized that Giblets the Gerbil was actually a pure pivotal point in my career. I fell in love with my character, and this is what made my book my favorite. And I think this book is going to do what it's going to do. It's going to save my career, it's going to save myself, and it's also going to keep me moving on forward with my writing. This only one change makes the biggest difference, and this book has done so for me. Um, that one little change I made by switching my target audience to younger children and starting writing little picture books while I'm at the most like studious part of my career has really changed my life. And I hope that those who do take into purchase of this look back and consider the journey that has come so far. And although I haven't really come up with an idea for my ninth book yet, but I'm sure it'll be something like Giblets. And I hope you guys find this innovative. Though this may have been a little bit weird to hear about coming from this random girl that you guys may have not heard about. I think it's important to talk about these certain things, that how realizing and open your eyes and having a new perspective really changes your point of view and your perceptions. And in fact, these little things can change your life. Not only not only for like the better or the worse. It just it makes you feel better about yourself. Remember, please give a like and subscribe. If you want to learn more about giblets, visit my website at bakhtawarparvez.com. That's BAKHTAWARPARVEZ.com. Or you can visit Amazon and search my name, Bakhtar Parvez. That's BAKHTAWAR space PARVEZ. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.